Angie's favorite wrestler, Johnny Android, Johnny Green Bubbles.
I am so disappointed. Like, you know what? But it doesn't affect my love for Johnny. It just...
I mean, hey, he has a rebel heart.
I just look at him different now. It's just like... I realized that I looked on Instagram. You know how you can tell, like, the writing and the emojis is different on IG stories when somebody has an Android? I was like, wait a minute.
He said, something ain't adding up.
I was like, 2 and 2 does not equal 4 in this case.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Culture 316, where we look to push the culture and conversation of sports entertainment forward in the 21st century. I'm one of your hosts, Jay the Creative.
I am Iron Man.
And we have a very, very interesting show for you. This was going to be a Money in the Bank special, but it's become so much more because there's been so much happening. So we're not going to waste any time. We're going to get right into it. Number one, Lars Sullivan has been fined $100,000 for old racist and homophobic tweets. And he has been forced by WWE to attend sensitivity training after Mars Incorporated contacted the WWE about these comments. For those of you who are unaware, he did have some racist comments in his past. I believe it was on a message board on Twitter.
No, it was on bodybuilding.com.
Bodybuilding.com, same difference. And so later in the week, Titus O'Neil actually sent out a tweet thanking Lars Sullivan for apologizing to him about these said comments. But without getting into that, I want to know this $100,000 and this sensitivity training. Is the punishment for Lars Sullivan too soft or too harsh?
It's something.
It is something.
Like, I mean, let's be honest now. We live in a day and age where people are going to go back and look at your old stuff and see what you have said. Granted, okay, I'm of two minds with this, right? Because, I'm of the mind of, people can change. People can definitely grow from their old experiences. I know I'm not the same person that I was in 2011, because I know you guys can go back and see some old Facebook posts. And
Who Jesus?
Who is that?
Who Jesus?
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So I can't be somebody to judge somebody off their old posts.
Absolutely.
But if you don't address it and go, hey, this is not who I am anymore, blah, blah, blah. Lars didn't say anything. He just kept moving like, perfect example of this Hollywood equivalent. James Gunn last year got fired by Disney. So he wasn't going to do Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because of some previous tweets. And I don't remember what they were, but they were like, it was something. Some previous tweets that weren't like, didn't shed too good of a light on him.
Right.
And he immediately apologized. He was like, listen, like this is not who I am. This doesn't reflect who I am right now, anymore. I was a kid. I was making stupid tweets, which we can all relate to.
Yeah, because we've all been there.
Right. And Disney hired him back, I think earlier this year. So, I mean, as far as I'm concerned with the Lars Sullivan thing, I feel like if Lars addresses it and apologizes for his comments, then I would just be like, okay, whatever. I still don't like you, but it's much different from the Hulk Hogan situation.
Very different.
Very different, because Hulk Hogan, allegedly, but we all know this happened, apologized for getting caught, not for what he said.
Very true.
And there were people, I'm not going to say any names, but there were people who we all put on a pedestal that co-signed that. And it was just like, no, do you not understand what this is about? This is about what you said. Not when you said it.
Or how it came to pass. Or how it came into the public eye.
Not anything. Not how it came to public. It's not about the fact, okay, your privacy was invaded or whatever. That doesn't mean anything, because what's done in the dark will always come to the light.
Absolutely. Now, what I will say about this... You better not speak in tongues. Now, what I will say about this is this is definitely something. This is definitely a step in the right direction. It's interesting, though, because I feel like Lars was confronted about these tweets online on a lower stage, and he kind of shrugged them off. He didn't really respond.
That's the
or say, like, hey, I'm sorry. It's only when he got, like, put on this notice. So I kind of feel like he had the opportunity to do so, and in that context, I feel like this punishment was definitely too soft, especially when we're talking about a company like Mars Incorporated, who is the creative of Snickers, who has been the presenting sponsor of WrestleMania, aka the 6th largest sports brand in the world.
For the last how many years now?
Exactly. So not only is it a bad look on your personal character, but it is a bad look business-wise when the presenting sponsor of your biggest event has to reach out to you and say, excuse me, y'all need to do something about this.
Hello.
And in the same light, I'm considering that Alberto Del Rio has been released because of slapping an official for saying something racist, and because Titus O'Neil himself has been suspended for 60 days for playfully shoving Vince McMahon on an episode of Raw. Considering all these things, I feel like the punishment was too soft. But enough about me and what I think. We want to hear what you think. So comment below about what you believe should have been done with the Lars Sullivan issue.
And if you want change, if you want things to really, if you want people to be held accountable for their actions, if you want WWE to be held accountable for some of their actions that aren't as good, Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal, you know, some of the things that they've been doing that people aren't.
Voice your opinion.
Contact the sponsors.
Absolutely.
Go to Mars. Because
Mars.
Mars got them shivering in their boots.
For real quick. But we're not.
Quick.
But we're gonna, because we're trying to make this not a quick show, but an efficient show. Moving on to the next topic. Going from WWE to another wrestling promotion, it looks like All Elite Wrestling finally has a TV deal this past week. They announced via press release and at the TNT Upfront in New York City that All Elite Wrestling has signed a media rights partnership with Warner Media. This will allow All Elite Wrestling to stream their inaugural pay-per-view as well as all their other pay-per-views on Bleacher Report Live, in addition to pay-per-view that they're going to be selling independently. And they will also be creating and producing a weekly television show on TNT Drama. They will have a primetime slot, and they will begin this fall. So I think the biggest question is, how big of a deal is this for All Elite Wrestling?
This is a huge deal.
Yeah.
Like, really, if you think about it, you have so many, you have so little content that's like on a platform like WWE is.
Right.
WWE really is the only show that gets, the only wrestling company that gets to be on such a platform. Like, they have 2 shows on USA, they have their own network, like they have such a big, Impact was another one. Impact was on, all these
Spike.
channels was on Spike for a little bit and a couple other channels, but now they're on the Paramount Network, So my thing is, if you're a wrestling fan, you should want this to succeed.
Absolutely.
And you should want AEW to push WWE. I don't necessarily want another Monday Night Wars. Even though it's not, yes, I know they're not both on Monday. Yes, I know, they're not, both going head to head in the ratings, and SmackDown's moving to Fridays. But, I would love to see, because if I'm being honest, and I'm trying to keep this quick, if I'm being honest, I haven't been watching WWE content. Mm-hmm. So it'd be nice to be able to have easy access to other wrestling,
Right.
Ring of Honor isn't that easy to watch. Like, it's easy enough. You download the Fight TV app, you can watch Ring of Honor's weekly show. New Japan isn't that easy to watch.
They're on Access TV, yeah.
I don't always have a lot of time, to watch all the wrestling that I would like to watch. But AEW is going to TNT, which is a big channel. Obviously, it was the home of
WCW.
Monday Nitro, which is crazy,
yeah.
Which is interesting, but is also very kind of a strategic type kind of thing by Cody, whose father was Dusty Rhodes,
who was an executive of WCW at one point.
Basically, you say WCW and you automatically think Ric Flair, Dusty Rhodes. Like, there's names that you just
automatically equate to
think
WCW,
of,
yeah.
So, I think this is great for wrestling.
Absolutely.
As a business. I'm excited for AEW. I can finally be able to watch guys like Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks and people who were part of New Japan and these other companies that I wasn't really able to watch. So I'm excited. I'm really excited for the women's division.
Oh, yeah.
I'm really excited for all of it. Double or Nothing I'm excited for. Hopefully I don't have to work that Saturday so I can watch it.
So we can go to...
But,
we can go to
Legends.
But to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, this is a huge deal for All Elite Wrestling.
Yeah.
TNT historically has been a channel. TNT, TBS, Turner Media as a whole has been very supportive of wrestling until it got into the early 2000s, which is kind of one of the reasons why they wanted to do away with WCW, because it didn't fit into their line of programming.
WCW went like that.
They were just
TNT
like,
was like wrestling.
they were just like, nah. But I feel like based off of All Elite Wrestling's business model and what they intend to do, because according to them, they plan on keeping win-loss records. They plan on being really, really analytical as far as their stats. Not just about like who wins and who loses, but like the percentage of the people that lose to a certain finishing move, the length of certain matches, things like that, and really go in depth with analytics. Things that will kind of stray away from the soapy drama of what we see in WWE, and kind of give it a little bit like a UFC element to it, to kind of bring legitimacy. And I don't think that this is meant to compete with WWE. I think it's another alternative that is going to give wrestling fans something different. Yeah. And I think that that's healthy, and that's so necessary. Now, it is important to point out that TNT drama isn't necessarily the TNT that people are, super familiar with, but nonetheless, it is a TNT channel.
Wait, it's a separate channel?
TNT drama is a separate channel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're on TNT
I
drama.
It was like, because I read an article and they explained it like it was like a time block. Because you know how they name like certain.
Yeah, they have a time. They have a time slot on TNT drama.
No. I understand that, but like some channels they'll name like a certain time block in their channel. Like Disney Channel will name it like, oh, this is like the Disney 5, where these for the next 5 hours on a Friday night we play old episodes of. That's what I thought it was.
Well, I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up to kind of confirm. But right now it says TNT drama, and the whole Bleacher Report Live thing is another big deal too, because they are an up and coming sports centered streaming service as well, and because it's Bleacher
Report. We gotta pay for that?
No, I don't know. Bleacher Report is connected to TNT. It's under the same umbrella as Turner Media. So the same outlet that shows NBA games live, that shows MLB games live, that shows soccer games live, that shows UFC live, is now going to be putting All Elite Wrestling on the same platform, which is huge, to be putting wrestling on with all these other products.
You know what's so funny?
What?
And we can move on after this. I remember Stephanie McMahon did an interview, and she was talking about some, one day WWE can be bigger than Disney. I'm just like, that's funny. But what really has me weak is, Disney is buying everything.
Absolutely.
Disney bought Fox, Disney bought, Disney has full control of Hulu. They bought Marvel in 2009, and look at what Marvel has done for them, $17 billion in movies. But
who's counting? Who's
counting, right? I feel like in the next couple years, Disney's probably going to buy Sony and Warner. And that means Disney's going to own AEW.
Which I wouldn't be surprised at, and that would be a really good acquisition.
And WWE, that would be so funny, because, it's just like, they want to be as big as Disney. It'll probably never happen, because Disney is like a multi-billion, almost trillion-dollar company.
Right.
But that's just crazy to me.
That is crazy.
I just think that's very interesting. I feel like it would happen in the near future. Like, by 2025, Disney is going to own Warner. That would be insane.
That would be super insane.
Disney would own Marvel and DC. That's crazy. All right, let's move on. Hold on.
So going from that, we are going into our predictions for the upcoming pay-per-view that is today, which is WWE's Money in the Bank.
This is Sunday.
Today is Sunday.
It's not.
We're actually rushing so that we can go to Legends.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get this started right away. The Cruiserweight Championship is on the line. Tony Nese versus Arya Daivari. Who do you think is gonna win?
Tony Nese, he just won it. I like Arya Daivari, but Tony Nese just won it, and I feel like he probably can hold it till we're in May. They're like July pay-per-view or something.
I can say the same thing. I see Tony just got the belt from Buddy at Mania. They're trying to give him a really good reign, and I feel like Arya, even though he's not going to win it, is going to give him a fight for his life. Yeah. So I'm going to go with Tony. So that's Tony. Next match, Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus the Usos. Want to make a couple quick notes about this match. It is for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, and that it is a Raw tag team competing for the SmackDown Tag Team Championships, considering the Usos are on Raw.
They played the Uno wild card.
Yeah.
So they picked a color, and they picked blue.
And so I think that Daniel Bryan and Rowan are going to win this match for obvious reasons because it's a SmackDown team. But I do think there's going to be a really good match, though. They had a really good match for the titles. But yeah, Daniel Bryan and Rowan. You? Same?
Yeah. What's the next match?
Next match. The United States Championship is on the line. Samoa Joe versus Rey Mysterio. Who do you think is going to take it?
Samoa Joe.
Samoa Joe?
I think this is going to be a night of retention.
Retention?
Yeah.
Or retaining?
Retaining, same thing.
All right. So I think that it's going to be Rey Mysterio. I think that even though Samoa Joe is a dominant U.S. champion, I feel like he's going to get the belt back, obviously. But I do feel as if Rey, considering that, his son is involved in the storyline, they may want to go the route of making it a feel-good moment. So in that case, I will go Rey Mysterio for this one.
I see that. I see your feel-good moment, and I raise Samoa Joe choking out Dominic.
Wow. Oh, yeah, because he's training, so he could take a bump now, and he's legal. So he could actually do that now. All right, the next match is The Miz versus Shane McMahon in a steel cage. I'm going to go with Shane McMahon on this one. I feel like they're going to find some way to have Shane's cronies kind of come in and do something.
Shane's cronies? Because I haven't even watched
Pick a brand. On SmackDown, it's Elias and the B Team. And on Raw, it is all the heels. So Drew, Bobby, and Baron.
I would say The Miz. I think The Miz needs to get his win back.
I can see that.
They built to maybe a final. They did what? They did the Falls Count Anywhere at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
Steel cage here. What's the next pay-per-view? It's supposed to be that stupid Saudi pay-per-view.
I don't think they're going to do anything there. They may build for SummerSlam.
That's too long.
It's August. That's Thursday.
Yeah, that's. That's way too long to drag this little rivalry that no one really cares about anymore.
But I'm gonna say The Miz. You're gonna go Shane. That's cool.
I'm gonna go The Miz.
You're gonna go The Miz.
Yeah.
Cool. So we're gonna go to Roman Reigns versus Elias. I think. Well, I want you to go first.
I don't really care.
I want you to tell me who you think is gonna win, though.
But I don't care who's gonna win. So like, that's just like a random.
That's a bailout card.
Yeah. Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns.
Yeah, I think Roman Reigns is gonna win. But one thing I can say about over the last 6 months, though it's been rocky, Roman's booking has been really good because they're taking their time with him now, and that's not something that could have always been said. Now, on to the women's Money in the Bank ladder match featuring Mandy Rose, Ember Moon, Carmella, Bayley, Dana Brooke, Naomi, Natalya, and what was Alexa Bliss is now Nikki Cross. So who do you believe is going to win the women's Money in the Bank match?
Nobody's name that is listed there.
So who do you think is going to win?
Sasha Banks.
I can see that. I could actually see that.
I could see her attacking somebody and taking them out of this match. I could see them. Now, this is just fantasy booking, but I actually feel like this is something that could happen. I could see maybe Bayley getting beaten up.
Yeah, I was about to say the same thing.
And then they don't know what happened to Bayley. And then they find somebody that can replace her. And you hear the boss music hit. And people erupt because we're all lost without Sasha Banks. Like, I get that you're happy and enjoying yourself at home, but I'm not happy. So I need you to just come back. Like, I don't understand what the
holdup is. I think that this is going to be a toss-up. For me, it's between Mandy Rose and Ember Moon.
I don't think they value Ember as much as we all want them to. I mean, you see they returned her out of nowhere in that stupid women's battle royal that means nothing.
They did. But I do feel like, considering the talent pool that is in this match, I do feel like Ember Moon and Mandy Rose, they both have an equal opportunity at the belt.
That's true.
I feel like Mandy has the potential to be a superstar. So I mean, either one, Mandy or Ember, it wouldn't. I think either way you go, you can't go wrong. On to the men's Money in the Bank ladder match. We have Ricochet, Drew McIntyre, Baron Corbin, Finn Balor, Mustafa Ali, Andrade Cien Almas, Sami Zayn, and Randy Orton. For this one, I'm going to go with Andrade. I think that he's the
Who's
one.
the people? Ricochet, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre.
Drew McIntyre.
Mm-hmm. I think they've been they haven't really done much with Drew. He's been really boring, and it's not because it's not his fault. You know, it's not like it's because he's boring. It's because they paired him with Dolph, which was good for all of 2 months, and then they paired him with Bobby and
Boring
Corbin. So it might as well just be boring plus boring equals boring because Bobby Lashley is boring without Leo Rush. Leo Rush is annoying, and then he's not entertaining to me. He's just annoying. I'm sorry. And Baron Corbin, while he's great on Twitter and outside of the company, I just feel like his character development has been severely lacking since he came up from NXT. Just like there's nothing there.
Right.
So Drew McIntyre, I feel like you get him away from Baron and all these people and maybe have him cash in on Seth at SummerSlam.
That would be beautiful.
That would be a pretty good way to end SummerSlam.
That would be a good way to end SummerSlam, depending on what the main event is. But yeah, I think Andrade.
It's gonna be universal.
I think Andrade is definitely in line, if not for an Intercontinental title shot. I think he's in line for the Money in the Bank. I feel like it's weird because Drew is on Raw and Andrade is on SmackDown. I feel like they're kind of like the brand equivalents of each other as far as how they've been booked, because it's like they're not trying to like build them up as monster winners, but they're also not trying to make them look like losers. They're just kind of keeping them plateaued until that opportunity comes, and then they're just gonna pop. But that's with that, and now we're on to Becky 2 belts. Becky's gonna be defending not one but 2 of her women's championships. So she's gonna be defending the SmackDown Women's Championship against Charlotte Flair, and she's gonna be defending the Raw Women's Championship against Lacey Evans. Who do you think is gonna win?
So last week I would have said that Charlotte wins the SmackDown title and that Becky retains the Raw title, but I think that what they're probably going to do is they're going to put on the Charlotte match first. She pins Charlotte. Charlotte beats her up. Her and Lacey beat her up at the beginning, and then she manages to beat Lacey as well, or maybe she gets help. But I don't think the way that this version of Becky is being pushed, I don't think that she should get help.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think that Becky should just beat them both on her own. And then if Sasha doesn't win the Money in the Bank, or if she doesn't come back for that, I see her next big thing is Becky, and the next big match that they can do on that Raw brand is Becky and Sasha.
That's very true.
So
I can see that happening. I think that Becky is going to win based off of what happened on Raw this past week as far as Lacey and Charlotte beating her up and then holding the 2 titles. Thought it was a good segment, but definitely think that Becky's going to be taking 2 belts home, especially since she has a 24 that's going to be showing right after Money in the Bank.
right.
And now we're moving on to the 2 big title matches. We have Kofi Kingston versus Kevin Owens. I'm going to go with Kofi Kingston on this one. I feel like Kevin Owens is an amazing heel, and I feel like a victory over KO would just bring more legitimacy to Kofi, give his reign some prestige, give it some longevity. I would love to see. I mean, I know this match is going to be phenomenal, and I feel like there's going to be another more amazing Kofi championship matches in the near future. But I definitely think that Kofi's going to walk away with this with the belt.
In all honesty, I gotta say that I think Kofi's gonna win as well.
Yeah.
I really did like Kevin Owens being a babyface.
It was fun.
Because it's something different.
It is.
Like, Kevin Owens has always been a heel. When he first came up, he was a babyface for like his first match, and that was it.
And then became heel.
He immediately turned heel that same week, or that same night, I think. So,
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I do feel like I would have liked to see a longer Kevin Owens run as a babyface. But I think Kevin Owens retained. I'm sorry. I think Kofi Kingston retains over Kevin, and then I think we build maybe to Kofi versus Roman at SummerSlam.
We'll see about that. I mean, that's definitely, I can definitely see that happening. But speaking of the Shield, we have Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles for the Universal
Most likely
Championship.
the main event.
That is probably going to be the main event. I think that Seth Rollins is going to retain. I think we're going to see AJ Styles heel turn, though.
I think AJ wins by disqualification because the club is going to come out and beat the hell out of Seth Rollins.
I could definitely see that happening as well. Could definitely see
I think
that
you give it a non-finish. You know, they're probably trying to give Gallows and Anderson a reason to stay because, I mean, I don't think they renewed their contract. I think they're trying to be out in September. But I think also what you do is you give them something on the way out. You know, try to convince them to stay maybe. I don't know why they didn't just leave them with Finn Balor on Raw after the last Superstars shakeup.
SmackDown.
Or, no.
Oh, yeah, Raw.
On
Yeah.
Raw last time. Or if they didn't just leave him on SmackDown for this Superstar shakeup so that they could put him with Finn.
Right.
That would have been pretty good. But, you know, I think AJ turns heel again. Heel AJ is way better than face AJ.
Oh, my God, yes, he is.
And he's funny.
Super funny.
Heel AJ.
Beat up
So
John Cena.
I think AJ Styles wins, but by disqualification. And I think you save a finish to this match for a bigger pay-per-view.
I can agree with that. I could definitely see Seth Rollins retaining by disqualification. I could definitely see AJ and the club coming out to beat up Seth.
That's why I don't think that match will close the show. Because if you do a disqualification finish, people will be like, I think the men's Money in the Bank will probably close the show.
Definitely.
If they open it, I feel like if the men's Money in the Bank goes before any of the title matches, then somebody's cashing in.
Very true. Very true. I could definitely see that happening. But we want to know y'all opinions on it. So be sure to comment below. Tell us what you think. Tell us if we're bugging out. Tell us if we're not. Anyway.
And if you're coming to Legends tonight, I won't be wearing this.
I will be wearing something different from this hoodie. My
hair
hair will be cut, and this abomination that is my hairline will be sanctified in Jesus' name.
That's funny.
But yo, we appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. We are on Apple Podcasts. We are everywhere where podcasts are. So is Heroes Inc. So be sure to listen to that as well.
Yes, tomorrow. Oh. No, because today is Sunday.
Today is Sunday.
Yesterday, I put up an episode, my first of my Spider-Man review series. I'll be reviewing all the theatrical release Spider-Man movies from the first one in 2002, Sam Raimi, to Spider-Man Far From Home when it releases July 2nd. So be sure to stay tuned for that. Thank you to everybody who's been listening, everybody who listened to my Endgame review 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, however long it was, and then to episode 2 last week, talking about the journey that Marvel Studios and Marvel Entertainment has gone through from bankruptcy to now the almost the highest grossing movie of all time, about to beat Avatar after this weekend. So yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this show, and
We'll see you next week. Blah, 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 blah.